I told you that some of your biggest insecurities weren't actually yours, that they were quietly planted in your head due to consumption? It can be consumption of perfectly edited moments where people are enjoying their vacation, or perfectly edited photos taken from a certain angle, or thousands of videos that I've seen over the years, because that's what happened to me. Internet made me change the way I saw my life. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys today about, how internet made me believe some of the biggest things. Like, if you open Instagram right now, what would you see? You would see someone is traveling, you would see someone is getting engaged, or someone is buying a new house or a new car. This is the one thing that internet made me believe, that everyone else was doing better. So when you consume so much of these sort of things, which I don't mean that you're not happy for the other person who's experiencing it, but you start comparing it to your life, and that will become a benchmark. Like, by 20 you need to have your own house, 2 3 4 countries you would have to visit by the time you turn 25. So these are all the benchmarks that have been set by certain people. And like I said, again, it's not that you shouldn't be happy for them. You will be happy, but that's not something you compare yourself to. So when you are exposed to these sort of contents, what your brain assumes is that you are really behind in life. You feel like everyone else has moved forward, whereas you are still stuck behind, which is really dangerous. You know people in real life. You know that people are confused, people are stressed. Social media does not cover that part of it, because I wouldn't put vulnerability on the internet and let people take advantage of me. I would rather put celebrations or like positivity out there. Social media is the one thing that shows the highlights of your life. What are the good things in your life that's going on? We have started comparing our behind the scenes life to others' highlight. It's like a highlight reel, and that's what we've been comparing to. The second thing is, everyone has their life figured out. So this is very funny, because obviously no one has their life figured out, but then that one random day where you are really upset about something and you find more things to be upset about, that's when you think that everyone has their life figured out. Like, everyone wakes up at 5 a.m, everyone goes for a run, everyone hits their fitness goals in a day, everyone drinks plenty of water, everyone journals, everyone meditates. You just feel like everyone has figured it out. And I think adulthood is like realizing that you don't have to have your life figured out. You can make decisions one step at a time. Like, I might not know where I will be 10 years from now, but at least I know what are my goals for today. you know like, you don't have to have it all figured out, because obviously it doesn't go according to the plan. 10 years back, I didn't know I would be sitting in front of a camera and recording these sort of videos. Or, I mean, I thought I would have a job in a totally different field. And probably 10 years back, I thought that I would be married, because I was a baby back then, and I thought that, girls get married by 21 or maximum by 24, 25. So that's what I thought. But it doesn't turn out that way. Nobody knows what they're doing in life. They're just good at pretending that they know everything, and they're confident about stuff. Next thing is that I am behind. You know that when you see everyone is obviously, like, not everyone, but there are a portion of people who are always doing better than you. They might be earning more, they might be traveling more, they might be getting opportunities faster. What internet does is that it groups all of us in one cluster or in one group. For example, not everyone has a good camera to shoot content in, right? Or not everyone has wealth. There's a certain people who have wealth and they make the best use of it, and probably they start their business and they might get successful better, which is obviously not fair, but then that's how life is, right? Everyone has different goals, everyone has different circumstances, which is what we need to understand. And with comparison, you can never really win in life. So essentially, what you need to know is that not everyone is the same. Everyone is on their own journey, and some might become successful now, and some might become after 30 or even after 50. Having a lot of friends meant you are happier. So on Instagram, we see a group of people, we see them hanging out all the time, we see them or even movies, for example, right? They have these perfect friendships where, one goes wrong, the other apologizes. But especially in our generation, I believe that it's not the case. It's not that easy to even find one friend who is that good. You need to be really blessed if you have that. Even if you're in a university or if you're in college, you will probably believe that, you need to have a group of friends to enjoy college. And trust me being there, I realized that, that's only until that college period. And if you're lucky, you will make it out of that as well. But then usually, it's only till that duration, after which people move on with their lives. They get busy, they get occupied with other things, and they don't really care. And if we compare, I was comparing myself to my parents, thinking that they had so many friends, and I'm not even able to make one decent friend, right? That's when I realized that their generation is different, their thinking is different, their mindset, their everything is different. But when it comes to our generation, it's totally different, which I don't want to go deep into it. But then social media did make us believe that, if you have friends, that means you are automatically happier. But it's not really about quantity. Even if you have that one person whom you can rely on, then that you're literally blessed. You're literally God's favorite. Honestly, at first, even I wanted to have that friendships where there were like group of people and all of that. Then I realized that it actually drains me out. Like probably I'm not in the mood to hang out today, and sometimes people don't really understand that, and it becomes like there's too much drama, which I'm in that stage where I don't want to be involved. It's just about you. If you like being around people, then you make those efforts. And if you don't, you just don't have to do it for the sake of social media or for the sake of how people perceive you. Next is success happens overnight. Like, I was going insane thinking that people were losing weight in 1 week, 10 kgs in 1 week, 20 kgs in 3 months. Oh my god, I literally lost my mind. It's like, how are they doing it? But it does not happen overnight. It cannot happen so soon. Success is something that is built over a period of time. And if it is built over a period of time, I believe it is more sustainable, and it comes in many factors. It cannot only be in fitness. I just gave that as an example. But then, if you see it in a broader view, like, in many areas, like, you cannot become a billionaire at the age of 20. Not everyone can do it. Success is also defined nowadays in social media, when people are probably, if people go out for a lunch or like brunch with their friends, that is successful because they have money, they can afford and all of that. But that's not even the reality, right? We don't know how hard someone is working and what are the resources that they have. So it's not something that happens overnight, and that's where I felt like I was left behind in life, because I thought everyone else was successful and I was not. With regards to gym as well, I gave up because it wasn't happening. But then later on I realized that it's a lifestyle and everything has to be changed, and it cannot happen overnight. Just like how I cannot gain 10 kgs overnight, I cannot lose 10 kgs overnight. So it was a simple math. Next is productive meant being busy. I used to think that being productive meant waking up at 5 a.m., doing your gym or whatever, walking or whatever, drinking like 3-4 liters of water every day, having healthy meals, cooking for yourself, also doing your job, and also making time for your friends, and also having a great social life. But later I realized that productive can also mean that, I'm laying on my bed watching something because I needed that recovery time. It is somewhere productive where I'm energizing my soul for the next day, where I can again go back to my routine. Productive can also mean where I am just giving my brain that space to, refresh and recharge and come back. So it's not always like having a productive day means I do everything in a possible day. Like, I felt productive yesterday because I finished one chore that I had to do. Like I had to get this clothes from some place which I'd given 1 month back and I was delaying it, and I went yesterday and I got it. That can also be productive. It just depends on what you view it as, but don't mistake in productivity of like a chill day productivity with being lazy. I mean, you need to know the limit for that. Okay, this one I made a note of because yesterday when I was journaling, I wrote it. So it is one's version of a fun life is the default version of a fun life. Like some person must have had like so many failed relationships, and if you're telling them this is the standard of life, else you're like failing, then that would make them feel so bad about themselves, right? Or if your version of fun life is to have six-pack abs, then someone must be trying so hard to get there. And they must be miserable giving up on all the food that they like. So that is, we cannot set a benchmark to these sort of things. I mean, we should be clearer with our goals, what we want to achieve, what is our standard dream life, and that's what we want to work on, rather than simply seeing something on social media. Like probably someone doesn't even like traveling and they might be doing it just because it's a cool thing now. So it really depends on you as a person and what your goals are, because my goals and your goals may not be the same. We should consume these sort of content, but we need to be able to define whether it's really applicable to us, whether that is something that we would want to achieve, whether that is something we would consider as growth, and only then keep it as a benchmark rather than just whatever people are telling on social media. I put it in my list of things to do. When I was at the age of 17ish, I thought that fun life meant going to parties and just enjoying, and but then now I realize that my version of a fun life would probably be traveling. It would be to go to concerts, it would be to go on long drives, which is a part of traveling, but yeah, whatever. So it is this is my version of fun life. It's not partying, it's not clubbing, it's not drinking alcohol, it's none of that. I am so against that. I think mine would be to balance all of these. It would be to balance whatever I said along with spirituality. With all of this being said, I think it's very important to acknowledge that social media is not the villain at all. I mean, I've discovered hobbies through it. I've discovered how to bake through it, how to cook. And social media is the reason I'm talking right now. And social media is the reason why, I've got to connect with people. I get to see what people are doing with their lives in a good way, not in a creepy way. It is not at all the villain. I think the main thing is perspective. You see a travel video or a travel reel or whatever, and you might see that as something where you feel inspired and you feel like, okay, I'm going to save money and I'm going to travel to this location very soon. Or you can also view it as they are traveling so much, where do they get that money from, how are they doing it, how are they managing it all, and you can compare it to your life and you can be like, I've not been to half the places this person has been to. So that's the two different perspectives that you can draw, and there are so many other perspectives that you can draw from one particular post. Maybe someone is just happy that they have achieved their fitness goals and they're posting a photo of their body. You can view it as vulgar, you can view it as pride for them. So it totally depends on you and your perspective. And I think that's what I have been learning recently. Whatever I see online, it does not have to be a measurement of my own life. Like sometimes it can be information, sometimes it can be entertainment, and sometimes it can be inspiration. And all of these can happen without me feeling inadequate in my own life.